Arsenal. Why do we like to do this thing? Why do we like drama like this? Eh? Ah! Now, wow. Thank God we won the game. West Ham 0, Arsenal 1. What a game it was. My goodness. Look, we traveled to London with one thing in mind, to win that game. 3 points collecting, not a draw, because anything other than that would have killed our title hopes. And that was West Ham's mission. Not just to kill our hopes, kill our dreams, but to save their dreams. Relegation battle meets title race. That's simply what it was. Both teams had everything on the line. It had to be a win of some sort, especially for Arsenal. And then for West Ham, maybe a draw could still keep their hopes alive, right? Now, Pep did some mind games saying, come on, or go Irons or something, trying to cheer the West Ham team. And you would expect that because of obviously you would want West Ham to win, because that puts Man City in an advantage position to go get the title again. But that did not work. And thank goodness it did not work. In the first half, for the first 20 minutes, Arsenal were asking lots of questions. Trossard was immense in this game. There was this beautiful opportunity and he had this beautiful header, which the keeper saved. Another rebound hit the post. Another chance was blocked again and hit the post. Arsenal had 2 chances hitting the post, which was just painful, But at the end of that 20-minute spell that Arsenal had and were doing so well, they were not clinical enough. Arsenal had about 13 shots on goal, but 2 on target. That's pretty poor. 66% possession versus the 34% possession from West Ham. West Ham had 11 shots on goal and 4 on target. The game was a nervy game. Now, after that chance that Arsenal couldn't convert, there was also a chance where Calafiori had a 1v1 opportunity and couldn't convert it, But at the end of the day, it began to give some room for West Ham to believe they could get something out of this game, especially when Ben White had to be subbed out because he had an injury. And that was the moment everything plummeted, in my opinion, tactically, where Arteta made the most unbelievable move, putting Rice at the right back and bringing in Zubimendi to hold things out in the midfield. That shouldn't have happened. Mosquera should have been the choice at the right back, and you leave your midfield the way it was. You need Rice in the midfield. You can't take away the engine from a car and think you will move. You'll be stuck where you are and people will pass you and win. Second half came up. It was, a case of West Ham really growing into the game. Raya made a massive save. The crowd was behind, the home crowd was behind the team, as you would, anticipate. And it was just nervy all through. And then Arteta corrected his mistakes, right? He took off Zubimendi. Calafiori had to be taken off because he had a knock. So Miles Lewis-Kelly moved from the midfield to the left back. And Miles Lewis-Kelly was brilliant, by the way, because he's not been giving us that level of confidence in the left back from the start of this season, something that he was able to do last season. But in this game, he lived up to the expectation. He was able to hold down Gerald Bowen, which is massive credit to Miles Lewis-Kelly, right? So he brought in Odegaard, took out Eze as well, and brought in Havertz. This happened at different times, but the moment Odegaard came into the game, opened up for Arsenal, we became more lively, more progressive. Odegaard played a very important role as Kipo stepped up in the game that mattered the most. So kudos to Odegaard, right? He was absolutely brilliant in this game. And he kept on asking questions. Great delivery pass to Madueke. Madueke couldn't convert it. Great presence in the box. Played that carved out ball that met Trossard because Trossard stayed put. He didn't move. Sometimes you just have to stay where you are. You don't necessarily have to move from A to Z. And Trossard, the moment the ball came, he just blasted it in. He wasn't dressing the ball. He wasn't trying to pet the ball. That's a clutch player for you. And I'm so happy for Trossard because he hasn't scored a goal in the last 18 plus games or so. So it was great to see that moment and see what that moment meant to the club, to the players, to everyone. And this was the 83rd minute of the game. So we're like, just hold this down. 3 points were good. And the 95th minute, there was a corner and then West Ham scored. This is the part in the movie where you're pinned to your seat, the climax of the game. Stoppage time, West Ham advantage, West Ham corner, and Callum Wilson actually scores, right? Because the ball, as much as Declan Rice hit the ball, Declan Rice was way across the line. That was a goal in terms of if it crossed the line. But in terms of the foul, it wasn't a goal. And kudos to Chris Kavanagh for making the right decision. After 4 minutes and 17 replays, Chris Kavanagh, the referee, made the right call with the VAR team. I think it was Darren England or so. Look, that was the right call. And I'm not just saying it because I'm an Arsenal fan. Pablo was clearly impeding Raya, holding his arms, the same arms and hands he was going to use to save the ball. How do you expect Raya to do anything? That was the moment. Plus, that was the first foul in the clip. So everything just panned towards that moment. And it took a long time, for that decision to get, made. 4 minutes plus. But here's what's important. Even if it took a long time, the right decision was made. And that decision is what has given Arsenal the hope today and the belief that we can still win it. Now, it could be a very, smashing outcome for West Ham, because it could mean they are now really in the relegation battle, but Tottenham will play Leeds and that could change things for them. But really, that was a foul. And I'm happy that VAR and the team made the right decision in that game. This wasn't Arsenal's best game performance-wise, but Arsenal had to win the game, get 3 points, and keep the momentum going with 2 games to victory. And that's exactly what they did. Arteta made some mistakes. He corrected those mistakes, something that Arteta is usually stubborn about. So you can see he's learning, he's making those adjustments. You see clutch players, you see our leader, our skipper, Odegaard, standing up to the big moments. You see a clutch player, Trossard, making those moments count. There was a defensive block from Gabriel as well at some point that was brilliant. And it was great to see that we were able to get that 3 points. This is something that Arsenal wouldn't have been able to do, in those games or in those seasons where we lost the title. These were the games that we would either draw or lose. I'm very excited about the outcome of this game. Arsenal needs to stay locked in. Forget what everyone else is saying. This is the moment you need to lock in and win those 2 games. And 22 years of not getting the title will become a thing of the past. Come on, you Gunners. What a time. Love.